Welcome to Journey Church Online. Whether you're watching via YouTube, Facebook, or journeyconnection.com, we're so glad you're here with us. Get ready for a message grounded in the Bible and relevant to your life. Our hope is you'll find it meaningful to your spiritual journey. We'd love to connect with you. If you'd like to learn more about our church, you can find details in the description below this video. If you want to worship through music played by the Journey Church Band, check out our worship playlist available 24/7 on our YouTube channel, Journey Church Roanoke. Thank you so much for joining us.
I know you're weary, walking down that winding desert road, but I will follow and lead you right where you belong. I know you've run the race and you have fought and grown. You've turned away your face, but I want you to know that even now, after all you've done, I still want you, I still love you. Even now, when you're all alone, run to me, come back home. Even now, you tear your clothes with anger, tear your heart instead. For I am always faithful, and I will give you rest. Give to me your life, and I will grant you mine. Turn to me, my child, while there's still time. 'Cause even now, after all you've done, I still want you, I still love you. Even now, when you're all alone, run to me, come back home. Even now, even now, even now. I shed my blood to shelter you, I bore that cross to make you new. And now you can't even speak my name. No matter what you're going through, I'm always here to comfort you and wipe away the tears from your face. For I will always want you, and I will always love you, and I will always die for you. You will always be mine. Even now, you will always be mine.
I came on board to work for an international import company. But a part of that, it was related to religious-based values, and that was something that I internally knew that I wanted to work on. So it was a real win-win for me. Our values were really embedded in just our core of the company. Weekly, we would meet as a group. On Tuesday mornings, we'd meet with the partners of the company, and we'd go through a Bible study in the morning, and then we'd also do that on our outside of work too. We'd engage on a Thursday morning. We lived the Christian value, and we also worked with the Christian value. Initially, it was just different. I had never been involved with an organization that put so much emphasis on faith, and being a part of that in business. I enjoyed it. I got involved. The work environment started to change as the economy was tightening. We started feeling the retraction from the retailers in our industry. Our business went from really faith-based to, okay, what are we going to do to hang on? One afternoon, I was just brought into the office and told, we got to let you go. Have your stuff packed like you were a criminal and walked out the door. It was pretty demoralizing. I'd never been in that situation before. It was hurtful. I would have expected, as a business that was based on faith, is that, we would at least, work with you until you could get yourself replanted into a new opportunity. That wasn't the case. It was pretty much employee number 3, you're gone. So I was leaving. I just thought, is this really happening to me? I've always been very successful in my careers, and this is the first time I'm actually walking out of a business fired. I think where I was deeply hurt the most was, in my mind, there's 100 other ways to handle a situation like that. Especially being part of a Christian-based company. It made me weary of wanting to get involved with that type of value-based company again. My brothers in Christ that I worked with turning their backs on me. I just was trying to do a job and work as hard as I could. I was struggling with the emotions of first time in my life having to go through that situation. And now I'm on the street. I've got a family that I have to take care of. I've got my 2 kids and bit off more than I could chew on a house. Well, I'm not gonna be able to afford this anymore. Interestingly, once I was let go, nobody from the group reached out and nobody cared about the issues that I was going through. And I think for probably a couple of months, I was still trying to sort it out. Does God really have his hands in this? That I just needed to take a spiritual sabbatical. For me, it was all about understanding, I guess, licking my wounds, per se, and needing to have time just to heal.
Rejection. Rejection. It can start early in life. There's the mocking, the ridiculing, the making fun of you. How many of us have painful memories of rejection when we were young? You're overweight. You wear hand-me-down clothes. You have braces. I can check all those boxes from my childhood. And I can still remember vividly the sense of not fitting in as I was teased over and over. Rejection strikes at the very core of who we are as human beings. I can still wince emotionally when I think of the times I ran for class office and lost. And this wasn't just a one-time deal. It happened repeatedly. I can still wince emotionally when I think of when I was told I wasn't good enough to be on a sports team. I can still wince emotionally when I think of when a girl I was dating let me know I wasn't right for her. And this was after I'd begun really trying to live a Jesus-like life. And again, this wasn't a one-time deal. I'll acknowledge these experiences were more devastating to me than I realized then. They affected my relationships for a long time. Can any of you relate? You carry into adulthood emotional hurt and baggage from being rejected. You try to protect yourself as you start avoiding anything that might lead to you being rejected again. Rejection. It can happen in your dorm, at your office, in your neighborhood, in a rec league. And let's be upfront. Ridiculing and badgering and bullying online through social media can dramatically amplify feelings of rejection, of not fitting in, of not being good enough. And what can be the result? Over time, it can threaten to break us emotionally. It can threaten to break our self-esteem. It can threaten to break us spiritually. One option, when we start to have a sense of brokenness because of rejection, is we may begin to harden our hearts, to become bitter, to be filled with resentment and animosity. we can start plotting revenge, planning payback, developing an "I'll reject you even more than you rejected me" attitude. Tragically, that's resulted in school shootings that have happened again and again. The second option, when we start to have a sense of brokenness because of rejection, is we may begin to withdraw emotionally, to retreat from relationships, to take the sense of rejection we've experienced from others and turn it inward on ourselves. We can start rejecting ourselves by engaging in self-harm like cutting or even suicide. Which of these options tends to be how you respond to rejection? There's a story in the New Testament record of the life of Jesus that's about a guy who experienced rejection. The man's name was Zacchaeus. Listen. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. "He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord. And if I have cheated people in their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much." Jesus responded, "Salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost." Not much is known about the early life of Zacchaeus. We know one thing: he was physically short. I know from my own experience that his being short would have led him to being teased, because I experienced that. When I started high school, I was 4 feet 10 inches tall. One of my friends named Oscar, who was short, experienced the ridicule of being hoisted up onto the higher row of lockers between classes and left hanging there by the back of his belt until an administrator found him and literally got him off the hook. Insecure, mean-spirited bullies be bullying for years and years. Oscar was bullied more than me because he was even shorter than me. And Zacchaeus likely was shorter than both of us, probably around 4 feet tall as an adult. Zacchaeus' teen years would not have been filled with dates and proms, or playing on the football team, or being named to the homecoming court. How did Zacchaeus respond to that? Apparently, with bitterness, resentment, a desire for payback. Zacchaeus embraced betraying his own people, the Jews. In becoming a tax collector, he aligned himself with the occupying Roman army as he demanded oppressive taxes from his fellow Jews. To become the chief tax collector in that region, Zacchaeus would have bribed and paid off Roman leaders so that he'd have the privilege of paying back the people he thought had rejected him. He had Roman approval to collect as many taxes as he could. And in addition, he would have skimmed monies that the Romans did not know about. Zacchaeus led a system of tax collectors who were a bunch of crooks. They were professional extortioners, and all the while, they were protected by the Romans while they preyed on people. The result was that Zacchaeus became a very rich man, and his fellow Jews detested, despised him. It just so happened one day that Jesus was passing through Jericho where Zacchaeus was. Zacchaeus, who had experienced such rejection in life and chose to reject others back because of it, was determined to see this Jesus whom he'd heard about. Zacchaeus was so determined that though he was very rich, and it would have been considered socially beneath him, he climbed up into a tree just to get to see Jesus because he was too short to see over the crowd. Can you imagine how Zacchaeus must have felt when Jesus came by, looked up at him, and called him by name, and then said, "Quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." In that personal interaction, Jesus models for us 3 ways to love and care for people who have been rejected. Jesus picks him. If you've not been invited to a party, not asked out on a date, not singled out positively in your life, but have again and again been overlooked, neglected, flat out rejected, and you finally have the experience of being seen and picked, you know the difference that can make, how transformative it can be. There have been times in my life that I wasn't the most sensitive guy in the world. I could be oblivious, and the truth be told, I can still at times be oblivious and not say things to communicate that I see people. But one time, I know I got it right. I was to give a speech to a college auditorium filled with graduates and their families. And as I was about to begin, for some reason it dawned on me, I should recognize my parents who were present. I called them by name and asked them to stand. As they stood, people began to clap and cheer for them. I've shared before that both of my parents were alcoholics. They lived in a rural community, and let's just say that my parents were seldom, if ever, acknowledged positively very much in public. In that moment, when they stood and were recognized, it changed the nature of our relationship for as long as they were alive. They'd been picked out as special, at a college no less, when they'd only attended high school through the 11th grade. My doing that one action impulsively, I wish I could say purposely, but I can't, I believe in some way changed their view of themselves. And I know it changed our relationship. I and my family would have been considered by many people to not be much of anything special. Now just imagine what Zacchaeus must have felt when the person everyone was talking about, the person who was so special, the person everyone was clamoring to get his attention, picked out Zacchaeus. Make that personal for yourself. No matter how many times you felt rejected, no matter how many times you've thought you were nothing special, choose to make the jump in your thinking today and start to realize that the God of this universe has picked you, has chosen you, has called you by name, and loves you, yes, you. The prophet Isaiah declared, "The Lord who created you says, 'Do not be afraid. I will save you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through deep waters, I will be with you. Your troubles will not overwhelm you. When you pass through fire, you will not be burned. The hard trials that come will not hurt you." Whenever you feel rejected, abandoned, uncared for, unknown, realize God sees you. God has chosen you. God has picked you. God calls you by name. You are dearly cherished. God is with you. Your troubles need not overwhelm you. Hard trials will come, but they do not need to defeat you. You've been created by the Almighty God of this universe. You are unique and of immense value. There is no one else in all creation exactly like you. God made you that way to signify how special you are. Okay, let's do something together. Let's hum together. Is it childish? Yes, but let's do it anyway. Hum. Hum. Do you realize that none of us has exactly the same pitch, the same vibration? No one else has your exact voice. That's why vocal recognition patterns can be used for security protection. Now, having heard me hum, some of you may be thinking, thank the Lord Michael doesn't sing in services. All I can say to that is, God picked me, God called me by name, I am His, and though you may try and burn me by your smart aleck remarks, when I pass through the fires, I will not be burned. Okay, so Jesus picked Zacchaeus to be on His team, to be in relationship with Him. Then Jesus accepts him. By becoming a guest in His home, Jesus was displaying radical acceptance of Zacchaeus. In that time, sharing a meal with someone was a big deal. It said to the world, this person is someone I value. This person is someone important to me. This person is my friend. For Jesus to share a meal with Zacchaeus would have been scandalous. It would have been considered approving of Zacchaeus' dishonesty, theft, corruption. But the way of Jesus was revolutionary. Jesus would spend time with people who were far from God, not to approve of things they'd done wrong, but to show the love of God for them so that they might become right with God. Jesus reached out relationally and built genuine friends with all kinds of people. He was intentional about it. How about those of us who consider ourselves followers of Jesus? Are we intentional about building meaningful relationships? Do we invite people into our homes to get to know them and care for them? Do we connect with people who are not yet Jesus followers to show them the love of Christ? Do we connect with people who are Jesus followers, for example, in a journey group, and truly care for them? Do we walk the walk of Jesus and communicate by spending time with people that they're genuinely important to God and to us? Or are we like the so-called Christians in the video who were not there for the guy they said they cared about, but then abandoned and rejected him? That breaks the heart of God. Jesus picks Zacchaeus. Jesus accepts him. And then Jesus affirms him. Jesus' affirmation of Zacchaeus leads to a dramatic transformation. When Zacchaeus experienced the love of God, his heart that had been hardened was softened. He let go of resentment and bitterness. He didn't lash out at people. He forgave and did not hold grudges. Is that something some of us need to hear? Zacchaeus wanted to be the person God created him to be, that God intended him to be. Zacchaeus climbed down out of his feelings of rejection and anger and instead embraced excitement and joy. Zacchaeus' life of greed and selfishness is transformed into a life of sacrificial generosity. Zacchaeus may have been physically short, but he stood up straight and declared that he was going to give away half of all of his wealth and even more as he lived a new life in the Christ who picked him, accepted him, affirmed him. Can you imagine doing that? Can you imagine giving away half of everything you own out of gratitude for what Jesus has done for you? Now, Have you ever given much of any thought to the reality that Jesus was rejected? Scripture says He came to the world that was His own, but His own people did not accept Him. But to all who did accept Him and believe in Him, He gave the right to become children of God. The life of Zacchaeus, who had been rejected, was radically changed when he accepted and believed in Jesus, because through faith he obtained the right to become a child of God. Zacchaeus was no longer a reject. He was a beloved child of God. That which was broken in him was made whole. The emotional wounds of his past were healed. Jesus knew Zacchaeus by name, knew his failings, knew his shortcomings, and loved him still. That is the good news of the Christian faith. It changed Zacchaeus. Will it change you? I invite you right now to bow your heads and close your eyes. And as we enter into the new year of 2026, I'm going to invite those of you who have never truly before committed your life to Jesus to pray a prayer along with me if you're ready to take that leap of faith. If you'd like to pray silently with me. Jesus, it seems like I've learned to play the game of being religious or pretending not to be religious. There have been things in my past that have hurt. Times I haven't felt good enough, felt rejected. And in anger, I've rebelled against other people and against you. But in the beginning of this new year, I'm beginning to grasp that you see me, that you accept me, that you love me, and that you affirm me. And so, Jesus, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to admit I've been living selfishly and sinfully. It's been mostly about me. I've tried to help some people a little bit along the way, but it's really been mostly about me. And I want my life, Jesus, to be about you. So I ask you to forgive my sins and to create a new spirit in me. Help me to let go of all the hurt and heartache of the past and begin this new year afresh in you. Jesus, I believe, though it's hard for me to believe, I believe that you entered into this world, showed the way of love, and yet were rejected, were crucified, placed in a tomb, but death could not hold you. You were raised again to new life, and you offer to me the gift of new life. And Jesus, I embrace that now by faith, trusting all of who I am to you. And Jesus, I commit day after day to seek to live in your way, to love like you, to be obedient to your commands, to reflect your character in my life. And yes, I'll be imperfect, but every day I'm going to try to live more and more like you. And when I fail, Jesus, I'm going to ask you to forgive me again and get me started anew. I want the best life possible in this new year. And I really believe I'll only know that by trusting in you. So Jesus, here I am, just as I am, becoming a follower of you. I pray this in your strength and in your power. Amen. Now, if you prayed that prayer of commitment, I really want to urge you to go to our church website, journeyconnection.com, and click on the eConnect link. Let us know of the decision you made to follow Christ as we begin this new year. One of our pastors would love to have a conversation with you. We can do it electronically, over the phone, in person. We want everyone in this new year to take whatever their next step of faith is. We really want to encourage you to do that, to urge you to do that. Allow us to minister along with you. And as we begin a new year, if you want to take the step of faith of connecting with a journey group, so you won't be doing the life of faith alone in the year to come, and you can be with people who care for you, and you get to care for them. If you want to be on one of our serving teams and make a difference and say, I want to do my part for Christ, again, the eConnect link at journeyconnection.com, let us know and we'll follow up on that. And if you are a follower of Jesus, as we begin this new year, we invite you to embrace the spiritual discipline, the spiritual practice of being giving like Jesus. You go to our website, connect on the giving link, and you can find a way to give that's best for you, whatever method is all right. But how about this year if you make the decision to increase your giving to show you're increasing your love for Christ? We invite you to do that. And when you do that, you not only bless the folks who are part of the ministry of Journey Church online and in person, but you allow us to minister with people in need. And one of our ministry partners is called the Roanoke Rescue Mission. And when you give to a journey, a portion of that fund goes to the rescue mission to help care for people who are homeless and hurting, who are struggling and are dealing with addictions. When you give, you show the love of Jesus. Why wouldn't you want to do that? We believe you would. We invite you to do that as we begin a new year. And we hope you'll be with us next week as we continue in this series. God bless you.